Hello and welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health. Every week on the program, we provide you with insightful information about NAFDAC's activities aimed at protecting the health of Nigerians. I am your host, Tosin Omolaja. As Nigeria continued to revel in its 60th independence anniversary, we kick off this edition of the program with reflections by the Director General of NAFDAC on the last 60 years and how the agency is consistently positioning itself to meet the challenges of today, whilst striving to become a world-class regulatory agency.
I remember 1960, October 1. It was a beautiful day. I was in primary school. They gave us cups. I've forgotten the color of the cups now, and flag. We were so proud that we got independence. I become emotional. Looking back 60 years. Looking back 60 years. Nigeria is no longer Nigeria that I grew up in. No. Nigeria is no longer the Nigeria that I grew up in. It's good to have 60 years on our record. But going forward, what are we going to do? Are we going to path the same way? Or take the same path that we took 60 years ago? Since 60 years? We've got to change our path. We've got to change our path. Some people died for this democracy. My own husband is one of those who fought for democracy in Nigeria. From overseas, if you know anything about Radio Kudirat, he was one of the key people behind Radio Kudirat. Why? Because we want to deliver our country. We want to deliver our country. Some people died trying to fight for the democracy of this country. Some people's homes got broken because their husbands were never at home. From overseas. Some people went into debt, and we were included because we were trying to link everybody in the world to help Nigeria, and we were just poorly paid professors. It's a personal thing to me, and that is why we want to make sure that NAFDAC is no longer that NAFDAC that was there 3 years ago. That's part of building democracy. When I got out of university, I worked at UCH in Ibadan, and I worked at Baptist Hospital, Ogbomoso, working with missionaries, Baptist missionaries. Whenever they were going on follow vacation, they would buy medicines from Nigeria, going to the US. And we asked them, why are you buying medicines from Nigeria? Oh, it will take years for the medicines to be approved in the US that time. Because the FDA in that time, 40-something years ago, was in a bad position. Was in a bad state. Now, the industry is no longer the industry that we knew. And that is why I'm particular about local manufacturing. Because this was not what we used to be. I worked as a university student at Sterling Winthrop Company in Ilupeju. That was when I decided that I'm not going to work in the hospital. I'm going to do research. Because it was an attraction to me that we can make our medicine, and as a young student, they will rotate us to different parts of the company. When you are in the production section, after quality control has rejected many batches, milk of magnesia was one of the products. Whenever I was in production, we'd be pouring it down the drain. Bottles and bottles and bottles. That was why quality of medicine became a focus for me. Meaning, we had a system that was after quality. So that is part of the thing that pains me about where we were 60 years ago, where we are now. But we cannot lose hope. We cannot go to Libya and say that Libya is our country. They put chains on the neck of Nigerians there. So where can you go? You want to go to Libya? You want to go to Italy, or where? No matter how difficult, you see what happened in Lebanon with our people from Africa. Young women being used like slaves. That is why we have to fight for the democracy and the sanity that this country deserves. Our people have good heart. God has blessed us with good weather. We're like living in the Garden of Eden that is turned to Sodom and Gomorrah. What is it that God has not given us? What is it that God has not given us? Is it brain? Most of our diasporans, of which I am one, are at high levels wherever they are across the world. Is it weather? Is it ground to plant? You can get tomato from the north, get yam from the south, from the middle belt, get corn, and from the cocoa. All over the country, we can plant what we need. We can get what we need. What is it that God has not given us? Each of us has to take responsibility to make our environment better wherever we are working. It's not just government. Each of us has the responsibility. As a DG NAFDAC, I have the responsibility to ensure that our regulated products are of quality, that somebody will not die because of bad medicine. Somebody will not die because of bad food. If I do that and another DG does that in his own area, it multiplies. 60 years is a lot of years. It's a lot of years to reflect, like I'm saying. It's also a lot of years to learn lessons, to have learned lessons from. And I pray that the lessons we are learning or that we will learn will move us forward. Thank you.
One of the biggest challenges business owners of regulated products are facing today, with regards to their interactions with NAFDAC, is the problem constituted by middlemen, also known as consultants, who pose as agents of NAFDAC, but actually are hustlers creating artificial bottlenecks for intending clients of the agency.
Before I joined NAFDAC, maybe a few weeks before resumption, I started getting customer complaints, and I put them as citizens' report. And what stood out among the complaints is consultants in NAFDAC. I didn't understand what that meant that much until I got down to business upon resumption, and they told me that the consultants or NAFDAC consultants have created problems in terms of moving businesses ahead. That there were a lot of compromises in terms of people seeking help to process their applications. So what I was told was that they were assisting them in terms of application processing. But what I then found out is that it was infested with compromises, and on April 2018, I cancelled NAFDAC consultants. It was around the same time that the emphasis was being laid on MSMEs. And there were a lot of complaints from MSMEs that consultants get up to 200,000, 300,000 from them. But in any case, I cancelled it 2018. So that is the status right now. There are still people posting as consultants for NAFDAC, and they are not NAFDAC staff. what I was told that they do is that they go and register a number, and when they are registering that SIM, it will be Mr. X or Miss X NAFDAC. So anybody that calls them will see Mr. X or Miss X NAFDAC, and they would think that they are working for NAFDAC. They have been gouging our people. There was a case of somebody that called me that he has paid over 150,000 naira to register a product, and the product was not registered. Our fee is quite lower than 150,000 naira. And I asked that person, I said, you are educated. This is even recent when we have turned to re-registration, which I'm going to come back to. I said, you are educated, you are PhD, and you cannot go on the computer. And if you run into a problem, call us. So they walked away with his 150,000 naira. So I had to sit down with him on the phone. I said, okay, go to this website. In fact, he didn't bring his own computer to wherever he was. He has to go to a business center. My point is that they are still there till today, some of them. And what the purpose of this is to let our people know you don't need to go to a consultant to do business with NAFDAC.
We'll take a short break now. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching NAFDAC and Your Health. Getting rid of these consultants and the confusion and bottlenecks they create will require the collaboration of the public.
Somebody comes to a small business, medium-sized business, said they are consulting, they are NAFDAC consultant. Let everything be put in writing. And where they put Mr. X NAFDAC, let it show on your own phone. Let our people keep documenting. Once they document, we go after them. But we don't have the culture of documentation of evidence. So somebody gouge you with from 100,000 to 150,000, and it's only cash. There's no evidence I could use. So we need cooperation from our own clients. So look for evidence. If it is coming from the so-called NAFDAC consultants that camouflage like NAFDAC staff, we will go after them. If it is our own staff, because they said few of our staff are still doing it. If it's our staff, that is what we will use to dismiss them. We have dismissed, we have terminated, we have suspended staff. It's a continuous process because we want to sanitize the system, because we want to protect our own people.
While it cannot be denied that the phenomenon of middlemen or consultants arose in the past due to gaps in the operations of the old NAFDAC, those gaps have been removed and replaced with a more efficient and well-trained workforce and quality management systems, as well as the introduction of cutting-edge technologies since Professor Adeyeye took helms of the agency.
We initiated e-registration about a year plus ago because without digitalization of our processes, we cannot be successful as an agency. We are going through global benchmarking as we speak, and that is one of the corrective actions that they asked us to make when they came last year for auditing. So we are now doing our registration via the e-portal. It's napams.org. It will take you to the registration site. Why is this so important? We want to cut down the human-to-human interaction by doing e-registration, meaning that a lot of people that are very savvy in use of computer can sit down in their living room and go on our website, register their product, pay online without talking to anybody. But with any new digital platform, there may be bugs or glitches, but we have help. People can call us and say, oh, I'm stuck here. What do I do? because even those who are educated, sometimes they get intimidated with computers. So it's not just education alone. It is getting used to how to use computers. So we are doing e-registration now. That is cutting down this human to human interaction. When I assumed office in 2017 November, I believe by March of 2018, we've already started quality management system. People have to be trained, and we have been getting training. Our staff have been getting training in terms of how you think of customer first. Not your pocket, not anybody else, customer first. What is it that I'm doing today that will affect the customer? Whether it's in the lab, it's in the registration and regulatory affairs department, or inspection, what is it that I'm doing that will affect the customer negatively? That was what we all got trained for about a year plus. We got our certification 2019 June. But that's not the end of it. It is a continuous training. You have to change the culture of thinking that you're supposed to get some money from somebody. No, you deliver your job, you deliver your service. It's delivering your service and thinking of the customer first, and the agency second, the image of the agency. Because that is part of the reason for doing this, to let our customers know that we put them first, and they should not let any so-called consultant gouge them, defraud them, dupe them of their hard-earned money. I've referred to MSMEs as one big project we started in 2018. And most of our MSMEs are in foods or simple cosmetics. So what we did was to decentralize the food and simple cosmetics to the zones, so that there is direct interaction with our customers instead of sending everything to Lagos or to Abuja or whatever. So we decentralized by creating positions for directors. So we added 6 directors to the zones, and we make ease of doing business a little bit better. That also comes with its associated problems, but at least our own customers don't need to be sending their documents to Lagos or Abuja. So that is one of the things that we have put in place to bridge the gap. Another one is disciplinary action. My goal is to create a disciplined workforce. Of course, workforce that are also motivated. I don't dissociate the two. Our workforce must be motivated by getting commensurate allowances or salary. And I've been working on that, and our staff are enjoying some of those right now. We are not there yet, but disciplined workforce is extremely important. If a staff thinks he can do whatever he or she wants, the agency cannot be strong. So we have dismissed, we have terminated, we have suspended staff because of compromises. We want to use deterrent. Are we 100% clean now? No. We are in the process of putting things in place. But it is evidence. I need evidence. If there's no evidence, there's nothing I can do. And I've told some staff before, in different forums, that you do the crime, you do the time. That doesn't mean that I'm callous. No. It is that I'm working to make sure that staff are satisfied, because our staff do so much. Unbelievable what we do on a daily basis. We go through dangers, threats, kidnapping, and I'm so much aware of that. But at the same time, I have to have a disciplined workforce.
NAFDAC, under the leadership of Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, is firmly committed to the transformation and development of micro, small, and medium enterprises, because these are very key to growing our economy.
Therefore, many measures have been put in place to ensure easy access to the agency and guarantee that these small businesses can register their products without breaking the bank or stressing out.
First of all, we are still within the 6-week window of our MSMEs palliatives, where we decrease the registration fee by 80%. It's going to end in November. We started in May. I'm just going to give you an example. For the average food business applicant, it's about 21,000 plus, but we have reduced that to about 7,000 because of this decrease. However, this palliative will stop, and we were at a stakeholders meeting in Ikeja about a year plus ago, and I was breaking it down to the MSMEs that you're supposed to pay 21,500. This was before we adjusted our tariff, and they said 21,500. A woman came to me and said he has paid 150,000 naira to somebody. I said 150,000 naira to who? Do you have an identity of that person? Is that a NAFDAC staff or NAFDAC staff wannabe? Wannabe meaning those who register their SIM card using NAFDAC at the end, at the back of their name. So it is educating, enlightening our clients. We also have a culture that if I don't give something, somebody will not do a job for me. We have to get out of that. As far as NAFDAC is concerned, we are a service delivery regulatory organization, and we are paid. It may not be as high as I want for our staff. We are paid to do our job. So for somebody to say, okay, if I don't give you money, you won't do it for me, it's a bad mindset. Very, very bad mindset. Another thing is that sometimes we don't want to sit down and read through and go step by step to complete the process. So in essence, we are also enabling some staff. We are enabling them, and I'm not giving excuse to staff. It is a culture we have to get out of. And some staff, like I said, thought that unless you give me some money, I will not do your job. And I've told, the stakeholders, if they want money, get an evidence. Let them give you their bank account number. That is the account number that I will use to dismiss them. So in terms of MSMEs, we are very, very sensitive. You can go to our state office and ask for help, especially with this e-registration now. You can ask for help. And if a staff said I need to get money from you, you find a way of documenting it. We have to keep our own regulatory activities very sane. We have to bring sanity into it. Thank you.
That's our package for the week. Join us again next week, same time, same station, as we bring you a fresh edition. In the meantime, if you have questions, comments, or inquiries, we'd love to hear from you.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, please call 0800 162 3322 or email nafdac@nafdac.gov.ng.
Remember that safeguarding the health of the nation is our collective responsibility. Let's stay vigilant and report suspicious activities of fake and unwholesome food and drugs in our areas. Till next week, stay safe.